The way we're going to conduct this, quick agenda. I'll talk a little bit about Magure, the reality of scaling AI, and what really happens beyond pilots. And I'll keep it short, as much as short as possible, and I promise you it won't be death by PowerPoint. And then I will hand it over to our CTO Pranav to walk you through the platform itself. And yes, please feel free at any point in time to type in your questions into the chat, and we will pick it up towards the end of the webinar. So getting straight to it. So just a quick intro into us. Look, there's a lot of hype around AI. It's been there for about a couple of years, but as an org, we've been around for a while. Started as a traditional boutique IT services company, if you were to call it, building a lot of mobile apps, web apps, and doing a lot of app modernization for many of our customers. And we started our life about 8 years ago. And however, we just didn't stop there, and we always thought about what could we do differently. And we got into the AI space very early with computer vision models, and then, of course, into large language models. And as we were developing many of these apps or products for our customers, we started augmenting it with AI. So very early advance of chatbots to patient triage systems for a healthcare company, and even hooking it up to Google's MedLM for automatic prescription filling for some American patient, for an American healthcare company that we did it for. Then we got into strategic AI consulting and working with a lot of enterprises. And today we call ourselves an end-to-end AI innovation partner, primarily because we've taken a lot of the learnings that we've had within our services business, and now we've applied it to our product. So we cover the full value chain from AI services to product and platform. And as things uncover, you will see more. Today, we have about 80 customers globally, about 150 employees. We are headquartered in the DIFC in Dubai, so we build everything in the UAE, with, of course, the delivery center being in India. Um, Over 50 AI implementations, either from the services side of the business or from the product side of the business. Of course, expertise in leading LLMs, both from a public LLM standpoint, but also private open source deployment for some of our customers. Very recently, I'm very proud to say that we are an ISO certified company as well, not just in quality management of 9001 or information security. We're one of very few companies in the Middle East or in the region to also have 42001, which is the AI governance systems. And as the product and the platform unfolds, you will see how we've actually mapped some of these 42001 controls to audit and compliance, rather than it just being simply an afterthought for AI. How can it be baked in right from the word go? A few of our customers in the region, so we work across governments, so the government of Dubai to DIFC to digital banks such as Ruya Bank, where we started with one AI use case and now working across about 16 different AI use cases for them. Also do work with global family offices such as the Bukhatir Group. They've got about 16 different legal entities from education to industrial to ready mix concrete and many others. And once again, working on several different use cases with them. And I'll touch upon all of these very shortly as well. We also have some very strong technology partnerships, so especially with NVIDIA. So we're not just a starter program, but what we call as a connect program, where we get access to several of their, not just infrastructure, but access to some of their subject matter experts, as well as some of their large language models for us to experiment as well. In the region, we have a strong partnership with Oracle, so Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. A couple of our applications are already hosted there, but now we're a solution partner working closely along with them where we use their compute and then deploy the AI platform itself. With Huawei, we are the first non-Chinese company to adapt all our computer vision models to their Khan architecture. So anything to do with CCTV, video analytics, and looking at computer vision models, something that we deliver on their infrastructure. But of course, in Azure and AWS, we have several deployments for many different customers around the globe. So coming straight to it, that was a little bit about us, but the reality check itself. And today we work with quite a few enterprises and governments, and we've had many discussions over the last few months, and really trying to understand how AI adoption can be improved. The hype is real, the ambition of AI is real, but where to start and how to proceed has always been a challenge. Many initiatives that they've actually started on have unstructured, unclear ownership, and after a pilot or a POC, they tend to fail. Fragmented deployments. So there's some great open source tools, but once you deploy it and get it into production, managing, monitoring, maintaining it, audit and compliance, and the limited visibility or the lack of visibility puts a lot of strain on productionizing these use cases. But also, as you scale, it also opens up to risk and compliance exposure, and especially cost overruns, be it hitting token limits with public LLMs or having that large infrastructure where you really are unable to see the true consumption of the infrastructure that is going on as these apps are being developed and productionized. And more than anything else, now AI touches across various different departments across an entire company. So traditionally, technology was kind of siloed with technical leaders, digital transformation leaders. But as more and more businesses getting involved, the gaps are more vast now with AI than ever before. Having taken all of these into considerations, we've built out the Mag1 AI platform, which you will see very soon. But as we also talk to many of our customers, we also follow, if I were to say, a few principles that drives real business impact for us as a business, but also for our customers. So we always look at use cases or AI applicability where AI can augment teams or decision making, not necessarily looking at FTE cuts, but how can we help you improve productivity? If you pick a use case looking at, hey, I'm going to reduce 2 or 3 FTEs, that's usually doomed to failure. The other one is, can I do functional AI or silent AI? And not AI that is flashy or gimmicky or taken as a science project, but actually AI that can really drive you results. AI that actually improves unit economics or save cost. So you pick and choose such use cases that can help you with that. And finally, AI that can be fully accountable and auditable by design. So when you pick and choose these as your foundations or principles for AI use cases, 9 out of 10 times it will be a success. And we've seen that with our customers as well. I won't talk about it too much because I'm going to hand the reins over to Pranav very soon for him to talk through the Mag1 AI platform itself. But at a high level, we've developed a platform that's completely sovereign, locally deployed in your own private cloud or even on-premise environment. You have the option to hook it up to public LLMs, but typically open source models is what we deployed for our regulated customers or customers here in the region, where your enterprise data sources sit in the middle. Then you have your model orchestration itself that comes on top, and you can pick and choose between LLMs to large language models to machine learning models to specialized models. And then you end up creating workflow orchestration. So you could call it an AI studio, drag and drop, and really pick and choose how you are orchestrating these workflows across your different processes. And then, of course, an MCP server that talks to all third-party applications, and then the agentic layer itself. And the entire platform, or Mag1 AI as a platform, is completely auditable, so AI monitoring and compliance. As an AI solution provider, we don't govern your AI, but what we definitely do is we bring out all the evidence from the system, so it can be governed both for your internal or your external audits. And when it comes to security, we look at role-based access control, Active Directory, single sign-on, and several of these other features that come in to ensure the right user has access to the right applications and the right data. And finally, the consumption layer itself, which could be web apps, mobile apps, chatbots. We call it the Mag1 hub or dashboard itself, where users consume these AI applications. I'm going to jump straight into some of the use cases that we're doing for customers, given the constraint in time. So today, working in the banking and the financial services, we've already done retail KYC or KYB, so know your business. The use case was it would take them about 15, 20 days to open a business banking account, how AI can actually accelerate this, AI-driven credit control and real-time decision-making, automated alert disposition for AML. Now we're also working on 24/7 company and employee bot support, internal policy and compliance bots, because once again, you're looking at a lot of data and trying to make sense of it as quickly as possible. So bringing that into play. Very soon, one of our We worked with the Legal Affairs Department of Dubai. Very soon it's going to go live, where we did a smart triage bot where citizens and residents typically go and complain to the Legal Affairs Department with all the issues and the problems that they have, but more so than not, these complaints are wrong. So we did a triage bot for them. Currently working in the automotive space, demand forecasting, so traditional machine learning to company-wide insights platform. In healthcare, working with a very large laboratory organization where we're looking at digitizing manual intake forms, but also doing AI in quality control, accounts receivable automations, accounts payable automations, all using AI. Oil and gas is another sector that we've already gotten into for an oil and gas services company that does inspection management for oil and gas rigs and pipelines. So deep document research and understanding. They prepare they prepare documents about 3,000 to 4,000 pages long, and simply put, if you put it in GPT, it'll hallucinate. So once again, we do intelligent chunking, take the metadata out, ensure that the right information is parsed and you're quickly able to make sense of the document, but also looking at computer vision models for talent and for time and attendance for blue collar workers, PPE compliance, and building smart insights for them. And of course, the family office, as I touched upon earlier, typical AR automations, AP automations, even so they do investments in startups. So we ended up building a pitch deck analyzer for them that allows their investment analysts to very quickly understand if a startup or a company that they want to invest into matches their investment theses, if there's a deviation. We also do public due diligence. So actually working on several of these different use cases across industry. With that, I will take a short pause. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. And now I'll hand it over to Pranav for him to talk through how we actually deliver all these use cases for our customers on the Mag1 AI platform. Thank you very much for your time. Over to you, Pranav.
Thank you, Akhil. Thanks a lot. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. I am Pranav, and today I'll show you Magure AI platform. In the next 15 minutes, I'll show you how your teams can create AI-powered workflows without writing a single line of code. Let's start with the problem that we're solving. So the problem that we're solving is building AI is complex. You need ML engineers, data scientists, months of development, and most business teams can't even get started. There's no governance. Employees are using ChatGPT sensitive data. Shadow AI is everywhere. There's soiled implementation that each team is working in silos and duplicating the effort. It is also hard to maintain. It requires constant engineering efforts, and business has to wait for engineering to complete things. So to solve all of these problems, we built Mag1 AI. So our solution has 3 portals. The first portal that is shown in the orange color is the admin portal. This is for the IT and platform administrator. They set up organizations, manage users, configure MCP protocols, and it basically sets the IT guardrails. Then second, the one in the purple is the builder portal. This is for the business teams where people from operations, compliance, HR, anyone, they can come and create AI agents and build their workflows using drag and drop, no code required. Third one that's shown in blue, we call it as hub. This is for the end users. This is a simply chart or a form for your AI assistant. Nobody sees the complexity behind what's happening under the hood. So let me actually show you the super admin portal first. This is the super admin portal. This is where IT administrator control the platform. First, we have workspaces. Think of these as separate tenants. Could be business units, regional offices, or client companies. Here you see Magure Tech Middle East. That is one of the organization. We could have Magure India, Magure Europe, Magure Mauritius, each completely isolated. Data never crosses between organizations. users in one org cannot see anything from another organization. This is multi-tenancy built into the platform. So you basically create a workspace from here. Then let's go to the users. Now inside each organization, we manage users. We have role-based access. So when we add the user, we select the workspace and then select the role that if they are admin or the owner, a member or the owner. And we also support ODIC. That means if you have a SSO or AD or whatever, you can just bring those people in. So if someone leaves the company, you just simply revoke their access. If you're using SSO, then they will be gone as their license is gone. So their permissions are gone immediately across the entire platform. Now coming to the MC protocols. So this is where you actually configure your OAuth credentials. So there's a reason why I've not set up the Google and I've set up the Microsoft. So you basically, whatever is needed by Google, you have to configure those things here. So for this organization, I've not configured Google. I'll show you how it impacts in the MCP. When somebody is trying to access Google MCP, it will tell you that admin has not approved it. So IT has to set the foundation, organization, users, approved MCPs, and everything. So this is our admin portal. Just to quick review, in admin IT portal, we can manage organization, manage users, manage LLM configurations, and do MCP settings. Now let's see how actually teams can build AI apps within the guardrails. So right now I'm switching to builder portal now. This is the builder portal. I hope it is visible. Okay, so this is the builder portal. Now in builder portal, what we do is any user who is part of this organization can see this. I can switch my organization. A user can be part of multiple organization. This is how I set up the LLM configurations. So when I set up the LLM config, so for this organization, only the LLMs that I allow will be used. So we support different API format, OpenAI, AWS Bedrock, Google Vertex. So OpenAI compatible format is what is used by open source LLMs as well. And you can also add LLMs which support vision capabilities as well, and then add API key and stuff. Right now, I've added two models. One is for OpenAI GPT-4o, and other is our Qwen 3B model. So the structure that we have is you basically have projects within your builder or studio portal. Let me actually start building a KYB use case. So what is a KYB use case? So let's say if you running a bank or insurance, you need to verify the Emirates ID. So let me start with the basic one. So how you do it? Basically from here, you can select the LLM config. Now, if you see, I cannot select any other LLM config. I can select only the ones that I've added. Then there are input fields. So if you see, I can add some field here, which will be either string, number, boolean, object, array, file, or image. I cannot add anything else. So that way we control the input to the model. So if I write a text, it will not execute anything. I have to pass the image only to make sure that this workflow is executed. Now, this start node passes the image to the perform OCR node. So if you see, this is a very basic node where I've mentioned that it will perform the OCR. Now, the main part here is this input mapping. Now I can add more and more input mapping, but only the mapping that is present in my workflow, I can add that. So that way we control what exactly goes inside the agent. I can also set up the output schema. So right now I'm looking to get name, gender, response, nationality, date of birth, date of issue, all this from the current workflow. Now, after this, what will happen is it will give all these variables, and there's an end node which will give me a JSON format. Let me quickly execute this for you. So I'll quickly drag a drop image, Emirates ID, and let's click on run workflow. So in the backend, It is actually going to the start node, getting the image, performing the OCR, using a privately deployed model, and giving me the output. So it is giving me name, gender, nationality, date of birth, date of issues, Emirates ID number, everything. And I can actually see what was the input and what is the output for each and everything that I was executing. This way, we can actually create dependable workflows which has proper input and output. But now if you'll say that, okay, this is very basic, let's make it more complex. So imagine you are saying that when I get the Emirates ID, if somebody is trying to upload something else other than Emirates ID, how do I solve it? So for that, we again have a workflow where I'm taking an Emirates ID. In this, I mentioned one more prompt. If the Emirates ID is not valid, set invalid is true and set the invalid reason. And similarly, I've added a Boolean type of response, which will help me compare. So this is my agent. Now I go to condition. I tell that there's a variable comparison. Then what is the path of the variable? I want to check with is invalid. If it is equal to true, because it is again Boolean, so it's all type compatible. Then it will go to the tool. If it is false, then it goes to end. So what will happen is if somebody is trying to upload an invalid Emirates ID, there'll be an email that will be triggered. Now, how this email came into picture? Because we have MCP tools. So this is where you can configure MCP tools. I have configured my Microsoft account. That is how I'm able to connect with my email. But if I'm trying to connect my Google Calendar and I'll try to sign in the provider, it says that platform credentials is not configured. Admin need to configure the Google OAuth credential. So that way, though MCP tool is available, but because it is not enabled, nobody can access it. Now I'll go back to the medium level. So this is where I can configure a tool that, okay, I used to use this. I have to use the send email tool. The connection name is tech support email. Then I can set CC to BCC body, everything I can set up and then save the configuration. And in the end, it'll stop. Now, if you want to go further, more complex. So if you say that, okay, in my KYB, I want to do more things. So you can do more things. Let's say you say, I want to validate trade license. I want to validate Emirates ID and passport, everything I want to evaluate. Now, what you can do is you can start with the start node. Again, use a default private LLM model. Now you create a parallel LLM model, LLM node, which will actually parallelly execute the Emirates ID analyzer, which the same thing, then a trade license analyzer, then a passport analyzer. And then in the end, it will give a condition and then send an email. And then there's a human in the loop approval. Once there's something invalid, it sends an email and then a human approval is needed to make sure that it is completed. If everything is valid, it just goes. But if something is invalid, it sends an email, waits for the human in the loop, and then completes the workflow. So right now I showed you a KYB use case. But let's say if you are working in a procurement department or you want to analyze your proposals, RFP proposals, how do you do it? So you actually, again, take a proposal file. Then you start 5 parallel agents. So one will analyze this technically and give you the response. Other will analyze the vendor due diligence, commercial analyzer, compliance check, timeline and delivery check, everything. And once everything is executed, then it'll end the workflow. So this way, it gives us a lot more flexibility of building stuff. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll actually go back to our recap. So in Builder Portal, you basically uh, build agent workflows using Canvas and connect the tools. You test and deploy them. Now think about what just happened. There was no code written. This was all drag and drop configuration. There's a full audit trail. We can exactly see what was extracted, when and by whom. It is governed. The AI only has permission to do the OCR, nothing else. It cannot just randomly go to a database, delete star from that database and stuff. And it can scale from 10 documents to 10,000 using the same workflow. Okay, now I actually want to also highlight on this visual flow builder and why workflow design matters. Imagine you have a deterministic workflow where you say if keyword is refund, then do yes or do no. So, but the limitation in that is you can't handle edge cases. It breaks when it is unexpected inputs. There's a need of constant tool updates. And then there's another pure AI agentic, non-deterministic, where AI analyzes the intent and it might perform the intended action. So there's unpredictable outputs. It's hard to audit and explain. There's a lot of compliance nightmare. So just to give you an example, let's say if I put a prompt that draft an email to Acme Corp CEO in a non-deterministic environment, what LLM being LLM, it will do AI search the internet. It might visit untrusted news site. It might find outdated layer of news and then draft the email with the bad info. And it sends without review. For example, it sends like that, dear Mr. John, I noticed Acme is going through tough time with recent layoffs. So this was like 2 years ago. So now C is offended, deal is dead. But what enterprise need is AI intelligence with predictability. So how do we work on that? We have this hybrid workflows where you actually take the input, which is the text, then you actually validate with your CRM and do not contact list in the workflow. Then you let the AI draft and research and generate the email for you. Then you have another review where it will flag if there's a sensitive topic, and then there's a human approval, and then it goes and executed. So this will basically result in safe email sending, and it catches the issues before sending. So this is the AI maturity journey where AI suggests, I decide. That is the stage one. Stage two is you have AI working in a guardrail, just like I showed you that there's controlled input and controlled output, where AI acts in the safe zone. And stage three is AI driven, where AI decides and the enterprise audits. So this is basically how deterministic and non-deterministic workflow works. Now I'll actually quickly jump to the consumer portal, which we call as Hub. So this is the portal which will be actually utilized by all the employees. They don't see the complexity behind the workflow or the use case. They will just go ahead and use it. This also demonstrates that the workflow that is built can be consumed using an API. You don't need to necessarily consume on the builder platform only. You can just expose the API using the service account and integrate with your whatever platform you want to integrate with. Another thing to see here is for people to judge or gain confidence, right? They need to exactly see what I sent and what is the output that I got. So that way they can have some trust on the agent's decisions. They can actually see what was the input that I sent. So I sent one Emirates ID. What was the agent OCR on that, and what is the output that I got. So for complex workflows, let's say for procurement, when I'm trying to submit a proposal, I submitted a proposal, it went to the agent, and the parallel agent actually distributed the task to different agents. So this is agent will tell me the complexity. Then there's agent will tell me the vendor confidence, then risk compliance. And in the end, there's also a solution architect. It also gives you a score and stuff. And in the end, you get the final response as a final proposal response. So this is how the Hub portal works. Okay, so basically, just to recap, a consumer portal, you can expose your LLMs and workflows. I mean, the AI apps and workflows. They can use multiple assistant. It will show conversation history, and there'll be a human in the loop, real-time updates as well. That's what this will do. So some of the use cases that enterprises are using, which are very quick and easy, like sales assistant, HR and onboarding, IT support. The platform architecture is very simple. Um, you have the end user and consumer portal. The Mag1 AI platform runs in between with all the workflow engines, agent runtime tools, and there's a security layer with auth encryption and audit logs, which actually calls your CRMs, HRIS, ERP systems, or all external tools or LLM APIs. So basically, just to recap on the security and governance, there's role-based access. Organization data is isolated among each different organization. There is auditing and logging across the platform. Whatever tokens, keys are stored in a vault. There's LLM governance in actually exactly see what was the input and what is the output for the LLM. So that's how we are able to actually make sure that all the security and governance is followed. Now, where do we stand among all the different solution providers? So there's AWS Bedrock, Azure AI Agents, n8n, LangChain, Palantir, Mag1 AI. So this is like a quick comparison. So for AWS infrastructure or AWS Bedrock, you need engineering team to kind of build things. You have to also manage and maintain, and you'll be always logged in with AWS. Similarly, for Azure, you need variable functions. You have again engineers who would need to build stuff, make sure that it runs. Your IT team passes it, and then you publish it. N8n is also a good workflow automation, uh, and it can be self-hosted, but again you have to maintain and manage it. You can use open source like LangChain and Crew AI, but you have to build things from scratch. So basically, with us, there's no vendor login. Use LLM provider, whatever you want to use. You deploy anywhere, be it OCI, Azure, GCP, AWS, anywhere. We use Temporal, which is also used by Uber, Netflix, and Stripe, which is for durable execution, and we have enterprise security built in. So basically, to build your AI workflow, you need zero code. It is 100% enterprise ready. You deploy things faster, not in months, in hours. And there's one central platform to manage everything. So, so there are three portals: admin, builder, and consumer portal. Yeah. So what you saw today was just one use case, which is for document processing. The same platform powers sales assistant that can research prospect, HR bots that can answer employee questions, IT support that can troubleshoot issues, customer service that can handle inquiries. So with that, I would like to end my session and open the floor for the questions.
Thank you, Akhil and Pranav, for the insights and the platform walkthrough. We have a few questions here in the internal Q&A box. I'll start with the questions any one of you could address, Akhil or Pranav. How does Mag1 AI integrates with the existing data platforms, cloud and enterprise system is the one question here.
Okay, Akhil, can I take that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So with your existing infrastructure or existing applications, what we do is we basically integrate them using MCP. So the Mag1A platform remains untouched. You expose a new MCP, and using MCP, we can connect with your existing infrastructure, your existing applications and stuff. So what is the MCP? MCP is basically like a connector. In the previous time, we used to have something called APIs, Application Platform Interface, which has a contract. Similarly, MCP is a way in which different AI platforms speak to each other, and they can still consume the APIs from other different applications.
Okay. I hope that helped answer the question. We have one more question here. How flexible is the platform if we want to switch the models or vendors over time?
Right. So if you see, I've shown you how easy it is to swap a model. If you want to swap from GPT to Claude or Claude to Gemini or Gemini to your own privately deployed model, everything is configurable. You don't need to change anything in the code. But if you have to do that in your, in your existing standalone AI application, you have to integrate with their API interface. You have to change the model name. You have to make some code changes and make the deployment again. But with Magure AI, it's very simple. Just some button clicks and it's done.
Absolutely. And just to follow up on that as well, right? As models develop and they get better over time, as a part of the service, we hot swap those models as well. For example, we deployed a Qwen 13 billion parameter for a client, and I think now there's the latest and the brightest version of a Qwen model is out. So over the course in time, we would swap those models out as well.
Great. This one more question here. How long does it usually take to deploy a new AI use case end to end on the platform?
Okay. Akhil, I'll take that.
Sure.
So we have categorized the AI use case in 3 buckets. Simple, which is basic, medium, and complex. So simple, if you see, I created like a quick KYB for scanning your Emirates ID. It was like minutes job. A complex is where you have to handle multiple types of documents, multiple type of scenarios. And a complex is one where you have to do integration with your existing applications, let's say your Fusion HCM, or your SAP or your Salesforce. So it needs some MCP configurations. So it depends on these 3 buckets. Generally, I would say between 2 to 4 weeks for a complex one, and a medium one would be 1 to 2 weeks, and basic one is like couple days or very simple to kind of build and deploy.
Great. I hope that answers the questions there. And again, thank you for raising these questions and the time. If you'd like to continue the conversation or explore how these AI initiatives can apply to your organizations, our team will be happy to follow up after the session. Alternatively, you could also write to us directly at info@magureinc.com.